Hello, my name is Storm King. You can call me Storm, you can call me King, and this is the first episode of my little project, the Stormcast, a little show where I get to talk about whatever I want and not just play games. The first episode, I got the opportunity to talk to some of my favorite Godzilla and Kaiju artists, KaijuKrew, Endominator, ruubesz-draws, and startheskeleton. It was a huge honor to have them all on. I was so excited that I forgot to hit record at the very beginning, but that's okay. We got everything after the first question. I hope you enjoy. Thank you. The next question, why Godzilla art? Like, why, of all things, that's like kind of the main thing that drew me to all of your accounts. So just where did that start? Starting with Endo.
Oh, great. Actually, I became a fan of Godzilla in 2019. Because I'm just a late Godzilla fan, because before that I was just a dumb little kid who didn't know about many other creatures. And also knew about Godzilla, but I was like, oh, he sounds boring. I don't care about him. But then later on I was like, oh, he's actually pretty cool. Let me actually look into that.
How dare you?
I'm not sorry. Fuck you.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I actually looked into it and saw all of the designs which actually caught my attention. I was like, whoa, they're actually pretty badass. Let me just look into that and watch the movies. And that's how I got introduced to the Godzilla fandom, and also saw a lot of artists like ruubesz and Kai. Like, I even followed you before I got popular on Twitter and many other social medias. I actually looked up to you, and you inspired me to start my own account and draw my own and draw and draw my own artworks. And of course, you don't start off like a big account. I also started off as a small account, just posting some cringe doodles and growing. And what I also did during the journey is I started to how do I explain it? Like, I used to have a lot of details on my art, but I tried to lessen it, because if you focus too much on details, it will look messy. And that's how I improved myself and also grew as a kaiju artist, and portray the kaijus in their own way, and also focus a lot on the lore and apply the lore to the kaijus as well. I hope this is a good answer.
Yeah, perfect. Because I know you do. I've seen you do actually a lot more recently with like Biollante and Muto, so it's kind of like both MonsterVerse and like the older movies. So I could definitely see the influence there.
Yeah, I am definitely. I got definitely inspired by that, and especially Biollante's design. She's just a great kaiju. And I'm also working on their story with Godzilla. It's going to be inspired by the movie, but it's also going to have its own MonsterVerse twist in it.
Oh, okay.
So it can actually match with the MonsterVerse timeline. And the funny thing is, the Biollante X Barb shit got me popular on Twitter and other social media. I don't know why, but
lesbians.
it somehow blew up. Don't ask me.
Hey, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Something works out.
It works.
True.
I would say it's because of Okay. Fun fact: it was trending on Tumblr. And I saw that it was like, oh my gosh, Godzilla, I used to watch that. Wow. And then what's it called? And then so what was trending on Tumblr was, obviously it was Godzilla, but it was also Mothzilla. Got him.
Let's fucking go.
Okay, and then I was like, at first I was like, I mean, Mothra and Godzilla together, that doesn't make sense. And then look where I am. Number one Mothzilla fan. Ain't that great? That's a story to tell. But so yeah, and then I was like, hey, Godzilla. I used to watch watch the movies back in the days. I can't remember when, but so I just started like just randomly draw like memes because I watched a movie with my friend. I was like, hey, we should go watch Godzilla, and then my friend's like, Godzilla, and I was like, yeah, we should. I am forcing you to with me, and then I watched it. I got into it. I couldn't get out. So and then yeah, I started just randomly draw random Godzilla shitpost arts, and people actually like that. And then I got to know Kai.
Wow.
Kai was also like a Godzilla fan, and then they kind of forced me to like, you should ship them, and I was like, you're right.
Hey yo, I just led you there. You did all the work yourself.
Your foot was
mean-
already in the door.
No, don't you dare like, you're like, hey,
I'm a propagandist.
my
What can I say?
you're like, check out my art, bro. And I was like, yeah. And then I checked it out. And then I realized I just dug a rabbit hole down to the Wonderland. I couldn't get out. I can't get out. Help. Help.
You'll never get out.
No,
Help.
stay
Except
there.
that now.
I think you enjoy being in there. So I mean, why would you want to leave?
Why
You
leave?
know what? You know what? Shh.
Stay in your hamster hole.
Don't tell that to people. Do not tell that to people.
For sure. I kind of get it too, because I'm constantly begging my friends, hey, you want to go see this new Godzilla movie? I really like it. And it's an uphill battle for sure. So I understand the struggle of trying to get someone else to go see the movies.
I feel like I'm obligated to tell this silly little story that it's not even that, it's just something my dad told me, where like, without giving away how fucking old I am, he said that when there was a North American release for Godzilla 2000 and I was a wee child, he was like, let's go to this little dinky theater where they're playing it and no one is seeing it because it's like Wednesday afternoon and I'm like 3 years old, and he brings me to the theater and I'm a baby. There's no one else in the theater, so he just like lets me go. And I was running around because I'm a child, like not paying attention, but every time Godzilla was on screen, I would stop and I would turn and I would stare at the screen, and then when he would leave, I would go around the theater pretending to be Godzilla, like attacking chairs and shit. So I think it's been there for a while. It's been ingrained in my head for a very long time. But yeah, like I guess more from an art perspective, I think it's honestly the versatility and like the variety. So he can be serious. The original Godzilla movie is kind of dreadfully horrific, like in a beautiful way. It's a fantastic film. And then you get like the newest MonsterVerse movies or the Showa era where you're like, this is fun, right? Like the versatility as a character that he has is like, it leaves like endless possibilities. So I feel like as a character, like, especially him and Mothra, I can draw them having their, quiet, tender, sweet moments. I can have him be more violent and like creature-like. I can also do my silly shit posts, and somehow it all still works. And yeah, he has like the longest running cinematic universe of all time, so slay. Like, he's it's just, yeah, and it's basically endless possibilities is, I think, at the end of the day. And he's also just kind of fun to draw. So yeah, that's about it.
We love a versatile king.
We do.
And finally, Star, why Godzilla art for you? Also, if you want to kind of change it to
Yearn
forward.
to spin this tale of yarn. Oh, okay. So, like I said before many times, my dad was a huge nerd back in the 80s and whatnot. He's always just been a huge nerd. He is like the kind of guy that, he would find just like boxes of anime just because that's all they had.
Mm-hmm.
So Godzilla had always been around my house. I remember like even going back to my grandma's house where I used to live when I was little, just finding the Godzilla versus Ibra Monster in the Deep, like a cassette player, or not a cassette player,
VHS.
cassette. I don't know. VHS. That's the fucking word. But my brother, he would force me to play the Godzilla versus, like, the Godzilla fight video games.
Yeah.
And he would beat my ass every single time until I started crying. Like I would force him to evolve the larva into Mothra for me, and then he'd kill me. We would watch Godzilla SLS on DVD constantly. Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. Final Wars we'd watch so many times over and over and over again. Only recently did I actually fully watch the full movie, because we'd skip past the first parts with the people. And then we'd just watch the fights. But funny enough, that movie was really fast, by the way. But yeah, Godzilla's just always been there. He just kind of comes and goes. I remember seeing the trailer for the 2014 one and being like, whoa. And seeing that in theaters with my brother and my dad and his friend. And then going to Godzilla, like when did it come out? It was like the 2019 one?
Yeah,
That
King
one
of
came
Monsters,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, and that was crazy because like I was seeing all these monsters again for the first time. It was such a fun time. I think that's when I started seeing Rube's art for the first time, and I'm like, whoa, there's people who can ship monsters? Who tell me?
With me?
Because I was like, so when you're a girl and you're growing up in male fandom spaces, it's very hard to kind of latch onto the things that you like.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
There's little romance. It's all about fighting. It's all about like being cool and all that stuff. You really don't have time. You really never get the chance to be like, you want to explore these characters. I think it's fun. I like romance and all that stuff. It's not really, enforced.
Mm-hmm.
Not forced. It's not really welcomed. So I think that's when I started. I think with Rube's art and other people like that, I started seeing that there was a place for me who I just wanted to draw funny little ships and all that stuff, or just have fun with it. I didn't start drawing Godzilla stuff yet, just because I didn't have confidence in myself. I think it was last January when I really started drawing kaiju stuff again. I rewatched Monster Island Buddies because I wanted to make a video on it. I never did. I probably should, but I started rewatching it. I started drawing Mothra again. I was in my creepypasta phase, but I was just like, I'll draw some kaiju, what could happen? And it just kind of slowly started getting more and more traction. And on my TikTok, I had started getting more followers than I ever had. And I'm like, I guess people like this. And the reason why is I think I realized there was no slice of life content for Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
Got like maybe Gojiban, but that's it. Maybe what's the person's name who does the animations?
Oh, Quates?
Yeah, I have dyslexia, so I can't really say their name.
It's
but yeah, them.
Yeah.
They have some of that too, but like it's not much because it's only one person.
Mm-hmm.
I think I helped kind of give an outlet for people who wanted to see these monsters as just characters for once.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's kind of what I wanted to see too, Let them have fun.
I was wrong. It's Quays. Sorry.
Quays!
Quays. No T.
I wasn't gonna make it right. I have horrible dyslexia, as my fans know.
Don't worry, I do too. So I get it. Awesome. This next one kind of goes along with what we mainly talked about. Just like, when did you first get into like Godzilla and or kaiju media as a whole? So if you just want to like rapid fire it, by all means. If you want to go into it deeper, by all means. Ruby, if you want to start that one.
Oh, okay, so it's my turn. Okay, like I said, Tumblr. Oh, that's where it started. Everything started back when Tumblr was cool. And then, yeah, I think the art that I drew was one of the Shrek meme, the Shrek boy meme that went like, Shrek, Fiona, Donkey,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I drew that with very horrible drawing because I didn't know how to draw Godzilla back then, and then I drew one of the Hercules. I don't
know.
I drew the
Hercules
one, and you are wearing his merchandise. That part.
Yeah.
That's when I started getting like lots of followers and lots of like attention. Actually, I got like attention before because I used to draw lots of Venom stuff, but then I went back to Bendy, and then I went to Godzilla because it was Tumblr, but also the King of the Monsters. That's why
Mhm.
okay, but I'm gonna answer this question later. But like, King of the Monsters really has a special place in my heart because that's when it literally bloomed my interest in Godzilla again.
Mhm.
That it yeah, the flower it bloomed. So yeah, that's where I met KaijuKrew. KaijuKrew actually reached out to me, and then I freaked out because I realized, oh my gosh, it's the person that ships Godzilla and Mothra.
I remember
And I'm
that.
one fan, and then I was like,
know that, bitch.
and I actually didn't have anything else. Like I didn't have Twitter, I didn't have Instagram, I didn't have Discord or anything. And KaijuKrew
Bullied you into getting Discord. I remember that.
yes.
Hmm.
And then I joined. I was like, okay, what's going on? What's happening? What do I talk about? But everyone was nice. And then yeah, as we were like talking more about Godzilla, I actually rewatched some of the old movies, and you know what happened afterwards. Started shipping Godzilla and Mothra, you know that thing, and then yeah, and then I started just drawing random ship quotes about it. People actually enjoyed it. I know it's cringe, but hey, I'm free, but yeah, cringe, but I'm free. Yeah, there we go. I'm cringe, but I'm free. So yeah, I think afterwards I just couldn't get out. Even after like the new Bendy content, new Venom movies, and everything else, I just think I'm just stuck here forever, guys.
I'm stuck in
But,
Godzilla
yeah.
hell.
Here forever.
It's the reason why Godzilla is so special to me though, is because it made me join other social media, and it made me meet like it helped me meet like really fun people like, you know, Endo, Star, Kai, and other people on our Discord channel. And I am very thankful of the Godzilla community and all the people there. So yeah, I'll be staying here for a while. You can't get rid of me, yo.
Said I guess if I have to.
Then you think you can leave.
Passing it on to Kai. When did you kind of first get started? I know you mentioned that, you know, when you went to see Godzilla 2000, was that the start of it?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess so. Like that was. I'm not going to pretend that I remember that. That's just a story that my dad told when I was like, you know, just above a toddler. So like, I don't remember that, but I can see how it makes sense. I will say, like, I definitely think I would call it like lifelong, but the 2014 movie was like the reinvigoration of it on like a much like more intense level, where I was like, I'm in, like I'm locked in. Like I started drawing him somewhat regularly in 2014, but I was still a youngin, so it was like a bit of a sort of back and forth where I was drawing him a lot on Tumblr. I was like Tumblr exclusive for a long time. There's a whole lore dump there that I can't really get into, but yeah, like I was drawing him on Tumblr for a long time, and then eventually like created the blog that I have now, which is the KaijuKrew one. And I think I created that one in like 2018, I believe, but I had been drawing him for at least like 4 years before then. So yeah, like that's kind of the timeline, I think. But yeah, definitely lifelong with like an asterisk beside it that says like 2014 onwards.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Oh, Star, when you kind of first get into
When I
it?
came out the womb,
Spawned in like in
my
Godzilla.
family put that fucking Godzilla, no, Mothra Leo fucking 2007 figure in my hand, and I've never gone back, baby. But no, in all seriousness, it generally has been lifetime because my brother really loved Godzilla. He was super into dinosaurs, and I really think my brother is the reason why I'm here now, because he introduced me to all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been it, and also I feel like Godzilla really resonates with me so much because of my brother. It's this thing that we're able to share, and it brings us closer, and it's always been part of our lives together. It just kind of, it makes me emotional kind of thinking about it, because it's like that branch that kind of keeps us together. It's one of many. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean?
For sure.
I love my brother a lot. He's a huge inspiration, even though he doesn't think he is. But just from like kind of stealing his figures and him forcing me to play fight with him when I just wanted them to be friends,
Mm-hmm.
or watching the movie over and over again. Godzilla's always been there for me in a weird way. Kind of like how my brother's always been there for me. So I kind of associate the two in a really nice way.
Of course, yeah. I get it. I remember not to be too into it right now. But I remember growing up, me and someone who I also hold very close, the one connection that we always did have was watching, like, it unfortunately was the 98 movie, but we like, oh my god,
You know what?
Godzilla's so cool. We love him
That's
so
still
much.
important, all right?
Yeah, and
Whoever fucking hates on that movie, you can't enjoy things when they're bad. You have to enjoy things when they're bad because it can still have a lot of like merit to it. Because have you seen the art direction and like behind the scenes of that? That's just
Yeah.
fucking crazy.
and like just
It's
having a
so
little
fun.
whimsy in your heart, please, God.
Yeah, we had the book. We had this little booklet
Mhm.
of like where they showed off. It was like for the kids. It was like, oh, behind the scenes, and it had like the fucking puppet and shit. And I would
Mhm.
just stare at it, and I'm like, yo, that's fucking epic.
Yeah.
I'm just super into like behind the scenes character stuff and like special effects. I'm sorry, I
No
gush
worries,
about
for
it all
sure.
the time.
Well, like I said, 2019, because before that I wasn't interested in Godzilla at all. I was just busy with dinosaurs, dragons, and I thought Godzilla wasn't cool enough for that. But in 2019, I changed my mind, and now I'm like, yeah, Godzilla's the best. He's the best king ever.
You saw the light.
Yeah, I finally saw the light. So, it was like when Godzilla King of the Monsters came out, and I watched it with a friend of mine, and I was like, oh, you know what? He's actually pretty cool. And then I watched all of the other movies, the Monsterverse and Toho. I still gotta watch some, but I gotta find the right website for that. And
Don't mess with
But
us.
I
Godzilla
also-
fans. We don't even watch the movies.
oh, fuck you! I got Wikipedia.
No, I'm the same way. I'm the same way. I haven't seen it.
I'm in Wikipedia, so I know what they're about. So, but yeah, I do plan on watching all of the movies. So I just know all the context and everything they've worked on, and also the behind the scenes, because that's also pretty interesting to me to know how they worked on a movie and what kind of special effects and how they came up with kaiju like that, like Violante, Destroya, and many other uniquely made kaijus.
Mhm.
And that's why after I joined the Godzilla fandom, I thought, hey, what if I make my own Godzilla kaiju OC? Because I thought that'd be pretty cool. And that's when I came up with a horse kaiju, because you don't see many mammals in the kaiju universe. And I also grew up with horses, so that's why I came up with a horse kaiju, because they can be pretty terrifying and strong and unpredictable, because in the media they're often portrayed as cute, beautiful creatures who mean no harm. Well, they're not. Not all of them.
So
Because
happy.
Because horses, yeah, they're dumb, big, lovely creatures, but ponies, I work with ponies. I take care of them, and they can be
demons.
devils. They can be
Yeah, I'm kind of
devils.
scared of
Oh,
horses,
yeah.
so I'm so glad that you're finally bringing this to light.
Yes. Like, me and my dad just take care of these ponies, and they're often doing something where we're just like, why are you here? Why are you
Evil.
like this?
Mhm.
Why are you so mean? So that's why I made a horse kaiju, because I think it would be pretty cool to see a mammal in the kaiju universe, and it has a lot of potential, especially the horsepower and intelligence that they have, and fight Godzilla,
Mhm.
which I am working on an animation to make Godzilla fights my horse kaiju, and also a story behind it on why they're fighting each other.
For
That's
sure.
a long explanation.
No, it's
Sorry
not
for
like-
that.
No, no worries, no worries.
Okay.
So when I first started getting into like Godzilla as a whole, it, like I said, it was the very first time I remember was my parents bringing home a VHS tape with like a big eye on the box, and I was like,
I had
"Oh,
the
what's that?
DVD.
What's that? That's crazy!" And it was even like it was textured, and it was the '98 movie. And I'm like, yo, this is really good. I saw this big lizard. It was running through a city. It was blowing stuff up. There was helicopters, and I'm like, oh, I'm hooked. So when Blockbuster was a thing, my dad would always bring me there Friday night after school if I did well. And he was like, all right, pick a movie out, and immediately would bolt over to the Godzilla section. And we only had like
So
3
cute.
movies. We had like Godzilla, like the original one. We had the '98 one, and we had the one, I think it's Godzilla's Revenge, where it wasn't even really about him. It was about his son and like a human kid in his dreams fighting
Oh my god, that one!
fighting
That's
a bully
great.
Gabara. And I'm like, oh, this
That's
is
amazing.
peak. It's peak. This is great. My
I
dad, you could tell
love
like
Noah
every
so
time
much.
I would pick the same like 3 movies. Like, you sure you want to try something else? You know, we got these movies over here. Like, no, I want to see this one. I want to see this one again.
You don't want to take the Digimon movie for a spin, bro? Like,
I eventually got into Digimon, but right then and there, I'm like, oh, I need to see
you
my
have to wait for
big
you to see
lizard.
that one.
Right. So next one, what is it about the Godzilla community that you enjoy like the most? It could be literally anything. I know there's always ups and downs when it comes to community, so just something that makes you want to stay. Starting with Kai.
Oh, you didn't give me time to think about it. I'm good. I think, like, honestly, I see a lot of people complain about the community and say that it's like, you know, can be quite toxic and stuff. But I think any fandom has the potential to be toxic. I tend to keep it kind of like low key. I don't try and debate people. I don't try and get into any like anything that I feel like is a waste of like time and energy. I think it's more like I guess it's kind of a jumping off point of like when I mentioned like the appeal of him is often like the versatility, and I think from like my perspective, I really appreciate the response to that versatility that I put out. Like oftentimes if I post something like silly, there's, you know, really nice responses to that, but then if I post something that's like a little more serious or a little more like, you know, it's cute, it's like low key, there's still like an appreciation for all of those like different interpretations, or there's different like facets, right? Like people will get into arguments over like which Godzilla is the best rendition, and like I just don't have time for it. I'm just here to like have a little fun, make some content that maybe makes people have, you know, like fucking smile or laugh or like any of that kind of shit. I'm just like, I have always appreciated how open people are to the variety of stuff that I put him through, you know, where I'm like, here's a little bit of angst, here's a little bit of funny, here's a random shit post, and there's always like a great response to pretty much everything. So yeah, I think their openness to the wackiness that I put out is definitely very appealing, and I appreciate it a lot.
Oh, I don't enjoy much. This is a hard one. To be honest, well, first off, it's a lot of the big creators. I like you guys a lot. You guys are really cool, and you guys remind me, I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm with you going. But if I'm gonna truly be honest, it's my fans. I know that kind of sounds very like dumb and whatnot, but like genuinely, I've gotten a lot of fan art from people of my characters. There's one person, Miss Flicks. I'm sorry. I couldn't look up the name, but there's one person. They are just like some people. They are just very ride or die for my work, and it makes me want to keep making it for them because, you know, It's
Hmm.
people care about it. And it reminds me of like, yeah, maybe I care about it because I'll take breaks from it, but like still like it. Still makes me happy. It still makes me smile. I miss my wife.
I
My
miss my
wife is
wife,
Matra. I
Tails.
called her.
miss
Back
your
off.
wife.
Well, it's more from a selfish standpoint. I just like Godzilla, and I just like to draw him, and it can come off as a rude thing, but I don't pay too much attention to the audience. But that's probably why it makes me stay, because I don't take shit from people if
Yeah.
they're negative or all that. But I do appreciate the love that I'm getting, and I will often like them. So I may not respond very often, but that's just a me thing. I'm not really that much of a chatter on social medias, and sometimes I just like to fight some um, the dumbasses who just like to pick fights, and I'm like, you know what, time to get on your nerves now.
Hmm.
But what I just like is that they just go along with my bullshit that I'm posting from time to time. Shit posts. Sometimes I post like actual artworks, like animations or artworks I spent a lot of time on, and I have to say that there are quite a lot of nice people in the community. Even though, yeah, like Kai said, there are quite a lot of toxic people, but it just depends on how you interact with people. If you're offended by everything or taking shit from everyone, and if you just try to make your bubble a bit smaller, then that's what I do. I met these wonderful people, and I'm just happy in the fandom. I can just talk to them, I can share my interests, and yeah, it's what makes me stay in the fandom.
For sure.
Unlike many other fandoms like My Hero Academia, all those fandoms, yeah, no, no, thank you.
Gotcha. Yeah, you kind of have to. Once you kind of find your people, it does make it a
Yes.
lot easier to stay.
Yes.
Awesome.
And it also helps when you're not really a chatty person on the
Yeah.
internet, because I'm
It's
not
I do
really
not
that
see.
chatty. Yeah.
Awesome. Real quick, we'll do a little tangent. My mod is collecting some questions from the chat, so we can kind of rapid fire through some of these. So
my broom now. Luna, come here.
for the first ones, what is your favorite Godzilla villain? We'll start with Star.
Yeah. Gigan, Mecha Gigan Final Wars. Mecha Gigan Final Wars. My favorite of all time. He's so fucking cool.
Love the
God.
chicken with a buzzsaw in his hand
He's
and
got a
on
big
his
fucking
hands.
saw.
It's crazy.
Ah! Ah!
Are you okay?
It's my husband.
Really passionate about Gigan.
He's been my favorite for forever. So
He's pretty cool. It's like his redesign is especially really cool.
You gotta get away from Star.
Edgy. I love it.
Endo,
He's
favorite
a product
villain,
of its time.
if you got one.
Oh,
The horse.
good question. I have a lot of favorite kaiju. I like Destroya a lot. His design is
Ooh.
just, but also terrifying at the same time.
Crap.
Mm-hmm.
Crap guy, yeah. And gotta go for the classic one, King Ghidorah. I like
Oh,
dragons.
Goated, yeah.
Love him. He's so hard
yeah.
to draw, though.
Space Godzilla.
Space
The crystal one.
You call him the crystal one. How dare you,
Call
Rubes?
him the crystal one because I just think his design is actually really funny. His design is funny, but also he's actually at the same time very menacing. And when I remember watching Heisei. I really loved the Heisei, but his powers were actually really cool because it's like he's from space and he's actually really powerful. It's just like, oh my gosh, crystal powers go.
For sure.
That's awesome. So, Space Godzilla, and this is really weird. This is really, really weird. But I actually also like the what's it called? Dang. Well, can you guys believe it? I can't remember my favorite villain's name.
Are you gonna say Orga?
No.
Okay,
I
good.
love Orga.
I have a bone to pick.
But it's the skull crawlers. Yes.
Oh, from Kong, yeah.
Yeah.
They're
I
Because
love those
really
bitches.
nice.
they look
Please.
cool. They look really cool. I like
Sure.
Their design is really cool though, and they're fun to like draw as just like a funny like a shitpost version
Mhm.
because they're just very tiny but also menacing but also funny and cool. Yeah.
Hell yeah, little ankle
yeah.
biters.
All right, I'm gonna cheat. It's a multifaceted answer, okay?
Oh,
As
wow.
a villain, purely, I have to do the default answer, which is Ghidorah, because I feel like he's
Let's
he's like
go.
a very he's a very
Let's
good
go.
He's
like
iconic.
penultimate like villain for Godzilla, and I think he's the type that like I always want him to come back somehow and like stir shit up again. Whereas like Destroyer feels like an end villain. I'm like Ghidorah I like because he feels like he can come again and again, and I'll just be like, yeah, I'll be excited every time he shows up, you know. But then as a little caveat, I will say design wise, I will always be like in the Biollante and Space Godzilla corner because I'm permanently in love with those designs. But I prefer them from the perspective of like slightly more tortured villains where like I feel a level of sympathy for them and I would prefer like a redemption for them if that makes sense. Whereas Ghidorah is just like he can stay evil and I'm fine with it. But those two I'm like, you're a villain, but I want more. I want to explore more there. So yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, I can't even blame you. Ghidorah is probably going to be my answer as well.
As he should
I
be.
love that guy so much. I've got like 3 different versions of his figure just on my desk. I'm like, oh yeah, this is peak.
He's like the second face of Godzilla, so yeah.
After that one, another question from the chat. What other media franchise are you a fan of? And how, if so, do they influence your style and what do you choose to draw? We'll start with, I think we did Star last time. We'll do Endo.
Oh boy. Okay, here I go again. What other media franchises am I a fan of? Well, obviously Game of Thrones, because yeah, I like the drama and the horror and the tension that's happening in there, and they have a lot of good moments, except for season 8 and House of the Dragon season 2. But the rest of it is pretty cool, and I'm reading the books now, and yeah, it's teaching me a lot how to do things story-wise. Drawing, not really per se, but it did give me some inspiration to like how to design other creatures from the Song of Ice and Fire. And another fandom I'm also in. I've been a fan of it ever since, but I'm back in it again. It's My Hero Academia, because as you probably might have noticed in one of the artworks, you see like Batra hugging Shadow and Tokoyami from My Hero Academia, and that's when it sparked my interest again. When I saw Tokoyami again, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's my favorite guy from My Hero Academia, the bird dude. I gotta draw him again. I don't know why, but he's just cool, man. He's just cool. He's badass.
Word up.
And other fandoms or franchises, I used to be a part of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, and pretty much Sonic as well. I'm just not really loud about it. And a lot of animes.
For sure.
A lot of animes. My best friend, one of my best friends, got me into anime, and also introduced me to My Hero Academia, which is one of the first animes I've ever watched. So yeah, a lot of the fandoms and franchises like its name on top of my head.
I've been through quite a lot of fandoms. Like I said, Bendy and the Ink Machine, and oh right, Cuphead. I was also in the Cuphead fandom. That was fun, and um, it was basically more of like a gaming fandom. I was really into gaming fandom back then. So Undertale, Bendy and the Ink Machine, Cuphead, and then also Five Nights at Freddy. I think which one was it? The latest one.
A security breach, right?
Yeah, Security Breach. Just for a while, not for a long time. And then I got into Venom when the first movie came out.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when I started drawing like. Okay, it's a lie if I say that's when I started drawing monsters, because Bendy's also kind of like a monster thing. But that's when I actually started like drawing like serious monster stuff, and then that actually. So basically, while going through those fandoms, I just stuck onto more like a shit posty, more like just lighthearted, funny, just haha, what is this cringe, like what's it called, drawings, and then that actually got stuck onto me, and I actually enjoyed. I like making people laugh. I enjoy people like laughing about it, just like having fun. It's like nothing serious, nothing too deep. And that's kind of how I started my Godzilla art, basically. Just drawing some random funny art, comic stuff, and people actually enjoyed it. And that's funny thing is that, like I said, I did not know how to draw Godzilla back then. I did not. If you see my very first Godzilla art, it's it. I don't know how to explain it. It looks like it's one of those abandoned child, very looking disturbing, very. Yes, I abandoned it. Yeah, but so yeah, I was into a lot of like gaming fandoms at first. I also really enjoyed Okami. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't really do anything, but yeah, I was really into gaming, and then I got into movie, and then finally, finally it's Godzilla. I was also into anime, but I didn't really draw. I didn't really post a lot of anime arts because I don't know. I wasn't like too deeply into any animes enough to draw kind of it. Yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
I already know
mostly
one
I
of
would
these.
say listen. I would say definitely like the sort of anime manga side of things. Mostly because it was I got into it like I'd always sort of been into it. I really enjoyed like the Miyazaki films growing up. They were like really influential on me as a kid. But yeah, like I think as I got older, I started delving into like anime on occasion. Yeah, in the past few years, when I tried to branch out, like stylistically and like the things I was drawing, I found it extra inspiring because I struggled a lot with like drawing people, and I appreciated the way that it like simplified those forms and still had like an interesting variety of styles. So yeah, like I've watched a lot of, or I've read and watched like JJK, Demon Slayer, Chainsaw Man, Dungeon Meshi, all those, and I find them inspiring on like a story level, like storytelling wise, as well as the like style. So the art styles like was very inspiring when I was going through my how to draw humans arc, and still am. But yeah, I found those to be like extra inspiring, and yeah, I've been keeping up with them as they go on, and adding new things whenever fun ones come out, like watching Dan right now, or was when it was airing. And yeah, just on occasion. I don't watch it like super religiously, but when a new one comes out that strikes my interest, I'll check it out, kind of thing.
For sure.
Oh, I have so many. I guess as people can tell, my biggest one right now is Transformers. Like I said before, my dad was a huge nerd, and Transformers was also always there. We had like the Cyberverse toys all over the house. I don't remember watching it, but I remember watching like Prime and Animated. I don't remember Cyberverse. That's like a blur memory because it came out when I was really young. What else? I like Sonic. I like Shadow. He's my favorite. Because
Based.
he's
Let's
so
go.
edgy,
Based answer.
He becomes stupid, but then
Very
it bounces
based.
back to becoming awesome again.
Yeah.
It's just that fun camp in the early 2000s, like fun. I really like Ninja Turtles.
Yes. Let's go.
I got super into Ninja Turtles as well. That's also been around forever. The 2007 movie, my favorite. Well, obviously Mayhem's my favorite, but that one it kind of just instilled a lot into me. People only like it for like the Raph and Leo fight, but I think all of it is very good. What the fuck else? If there's more, give me a second. I'm overthinking my brain. Marvel a lot. I watched a lot of Marvel stuff growing up. I was there before the MCUification of it all, where
For
things
sure.
still kind of had that charm. It's that charm that like I think Marvel Rivals is bringing back,
Yeah.
which I'm very happy about. Creepypasta. I love creepypasta.
Oh,
It's my favorite. I just like horror a lot. As you can see, it kind of influences a lot of stuff I do. I want to do more horror things, but it's hard because my mom and my dad follow me on TikTok and they don't want to see scary stuff.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
So, and also, even when on TikTok, I gotta be careful. Can't go full weirdo on there.
Gotta rein it in a little bit.
Scared him off TikTok. You could do it. Scared him off.
No. I'm big into graphic novels and just reading those and whatnot, like Bone. I really enjoyed like dinosaurs. Oh, this is a hard one to say, but I was really into Wings of Fire as a kid and a young adult.
No
It
shame.
tricked my family into thinking I was reading. I was actually like really into reading for a bit. But
we don't have shame here.
That's where it got me, like my first specks of internet fame. I kind of blew up that Wings of Fire Reddit for a little bit because people started forming a cult of personality around me, and I was 17 and I got freaked out. Like I made a subreddit and I was like,
like too much people happening right now.
Yeah, basically. I don't know. I just like Beastars, like anime, like Chainsaw Man. Yeah. I like Fujimoto. He's a freak. He's a freak, and I think that makes his work fun.
For sure.
You got to be a little freaky to make something good, I think.
I can agree with that. Yeah. All right. So we'll do another half of like chat comments after a little bit more of like the other ones I have prepared. So, do you have a favorite movie from Godzilla as a whole?
I really like the Heisei series because that's the one I think I grew up watching. And well, obviously the one with Space Godzilla. I do not like the last one though because I hate Destroyer. And of course also King of the Monsters because that's the one that actually got me into Godzilla. And I really cannot ever forget the soundtrack. The music. Bear is a legend. I still listen to this. Like I still listen to Ghidorah's theme. But Rodan's theme song still banging, man. And obviously the credits song, the monster song. Everything was just so perfect. I legit cannot forget the music. And also, I actually liked Godzilla X Kong more than Godzilla versus Kong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Godzilla.
No, I
X
understand.
Kong,
I know what you mean.
because monster fight, woohoo! And then I actually also enjoyed Final Wars, and Final Wars was just so funny for me. And Minus One, I did enjoy it. But it made me cry.
That means it was good.
Hey, a big person crying, just staring at the screen, is like, oh, man, that show's so beautiful. Yeah, and then yeah, I think those are the top 5 that I mentioned. 5, 3, 4. I don't know. I can't count.
Top a couple.
Yeah, top of a couple of music that I really enjoyed. I don't think I really enjoyed the Showa era. I mean, Showa era was funny and all, but I don't really remember watching them when I was a kid. It's really the Heisei ones that I really like. Oh, and
Fair
also like the cartoon, Godzilla the cartoon, the cartoon, you know.
The Hanna-Barbera one, or
Godzilla Junior.
Yeah, I kind of split it with like the like more Toho stuff and then the MonsterVerse stuff, because I think like they are two separate things, so I like to sort of keep them like separated in my head. So yeah, for like the Toho ones, I would say I really like Tokyo SOS. I think it's very fun. I don't know, it's always stuck out in my head. I think it's also it's got like a good balance, like roster for a single movie, I think. So yeah, that one I always just find myself being drawn to. And then also -1, I think, is like, again, I always bring it up, but like the versatility you can have as a character, where something like -1 like works and feels like it's very, you know, well written and impactful, and you get it and stuff. Like I really love how they executed that. And yeah, for the MonsterVerse, I would say I'm extremely biased in that King of the Monsters and GXK having the Mothzilla content that they do in them will always make them appear way higher on my list, regardless if like I like the movie itself or not. I'm like, if you give me Mothra Godzilla interactions, I will be in love with you. Like, I'm sorry, but that's just how it works. So, yeah, I really enjoy King of the Monsters and GXK. I think that GVK, I also just think is like one of the better executed like monster fights in the MonsterVerse. Like, I don't know why the sort of second showdown between Kong and Goji, I think, is like a phenomenally done fight scene in general. So there's a lot to like in all of them, I think. They're not perfect movies, but I enjoy them to have fun. Yeah, I also agree with Rubes about the music from King of the Monsters. I played God of War, so Bear McCreary is like forever goated in my mind for those two soundtracks alone. Like, they are genuinely phenomenal, and I gotta be honest, I do miss having him on the soundtrack for the last couple ones. But yeah, I'd say that's kind of the slight little roster of my favorites. Yeah.
I got many. I would say it's hard to pick my favorite, because like you want to be like, oh yeah, this one's good because it's good as film. This one's good because it means a lot to me. Two that I guess always pop into my brain is Godzilla SOS and Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, the one with the little baby.
Okay.
Rodan, I guess. Just because those are the ones I watched a lot as a kid. SOS made me fall in love with Mothra. I always thought she was the coolest because she was a girl monster and I'm a girl. So I'm like, yo, we got that connection. That's crazy.
Right.
Also, I like the worms. I like the poop worms. The poop worms, they're cute. They're funny to me.
Yeah.
They're nostalgic. I know. And yeah, obviously I like Godzilla -1. Who doesn't? It's an objectively amazing film. Shin Godzilla is pretty fun too. I quite enjoy that one, just because it was such a, you know, I love eldritch horror. That one was like, it feels very visceral.
Yeah.
It's a very fun commentary on bureaucracy in the face of emergency.
Right.
I guess MonsterVerse kind of. Well, I guess Godzilla. That's a hard one, because I remember we were watching with my friend and my feelings kind of changed on those films. But like, I think I might like just the first one as my favorite from like a film perspective.
The 2014 one?
Yeah, 2014, and then the King of the Monsters, simply because they have some of my favorite shots in the series, and I'm very big on storyboarding and like shot composition. Like the scene when they're flying out the helicopter from the sky with the red trails coming out their feet.
Yeah.
Is something that sticks in my mind constantly. Like, that film has when it's actually showing things,
Right.
has some gorgeous fucking it's got some gorgeous what is it called?
Composition?
Composition. Yes, I'm filming. I'm a university graduate. I should know this. But yeah, I just love composition and stuff like that. So that's why those two movies just always stick out to me.
For sure. Yeah, the Halo scene where they're jumping in like the red trails, that was literally my background for a while. It was so good. It was peak.
Oh my god.
That's a really good question because I've been thinking of you, and I don't really have a favorite. That's the thing. I just like most of them, and sometimes I don't like some of them, and I also look at it from a story perspective or the artistic perspective. But if I have to say, I will choose a movie from the Toho franchise and the Monsterverse franchise because they're two entirely different things.
Sure.
I'd have to say, for the Toho ones, I guess the very first movies, Gojira, Mothra, Rodan, it's just very uniquely made with the technology they had during that time. Even though it may look funky and funny to us right now, but I just have to appreciate the amount of work they put into those movies. They
were working with nothing basically, and they made magic.
Yeah.
It's really crazy. So I'm like, damn, that's just impressive. Respect. That's just beautiful. Respect. And for the Multiverse, good question. Because there are things I love about the movies and things I don't really particularly like. Because Godzilla 2014, I have to say the visuals are great, but I didn't like the pacing of the story. It was not really monster focused, and even though they're going to focus so much to build it up, the characters were boring. The story build up, I did not like that.
Second half of the movie came out. Walter White died, and you lost me.
Yeah.
In Godzilla King of the Monsters, the visuals, I like them, and I also like the way they portrayed the monsters, but also giving them personality. So I really appreciate that, and like Rip said, the music, Bear Mercury is a chat. Love him. And that's definitely a thing, but what I didn't really like about Godzilla King of the Monsters is how chaotic it became with the pacing and some weak characters. I have to say there are some really great characters like Alan Jonah, my favorite, best Monsterverse villain. Love him. He's great. But there were some issues in that movie, and especially the shots, because remember when the main guy, what's his name again? Mark? Was it Mark?
I think it's Mark, yeah.
Yeah, Mark. Like when Mothra showed up, it was raining, and when he got in a plane, his jacket was suddenly dried up. Like he hasn't been in the rain at all. So I'm like, oh, how did you just screw that up, man?
Right, for sure.
Screw that up. And Godzilla vs. Kong, there were a lot of monster actions. I like that. I like that. But the characters fell really off in that one. It didn't really stick with me. And Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire, I have to say I enjoyed that one the most. Just the action and the amount of creativity they put into that movie, different monsters and all that, it was just great. I love that. Even though the characters, there were some unnecessary characters or word plots, but the movie itself, I enjoyed that one the most, along with a best friend of mine when we watched it together.
Awesome.
You read about
I don't really have a specific favorite one, but I just appreciate the movies in their own right.
This kind of as an all-encompassing thing.
Yes, exactly.
Fair. For me, I really don't have like a favorite like single movie. I usually tend to split them up by eras. So like the Showa era, it's Godzilla, or the Terror of Mechagodzilla, because that had Titanosaurus in it, the most obnoxiously loud kaiju I've ever seen, and I instantly got hooked. They're definitely my favorite one from that one. From Heisei, it would have to be probably versus Destroya, because Burning Godzilla just had such a striking design. It also scared me as a child because I saw the Destroya, like the little ones, where they have like the mouth, the alien mouth that has the mouth within a mouth. That like scarred me as a child. But I'm like, oh, it's so good. It's peak. It's great. From the Millennium series, I think we're going with probably Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, because Kiryu has such a stellar design.
That design fucks.
It's such a good one. Like I had, that was the one movie that I just constantly kept replaying on DVD.
We're never gonna reach peak again. I'm gonna tell you that much. We're
I
never
got
gonna get that
the G-Force hat from some convention one time. I'm like, oh my god, this is the hat from the movie.
Oh my god, that's so fucking. I made mine.
It's like such a fun design. And then I guess I'll split up MonsterVerse versus like the more modern, I think they're called the Reiwa era now. Because -1 is definitely up there. It's hard to not like that one. And then replacing it with a MonsterVerse one, I don't know. I would feel bad about it. So for MonsterVerse, I would probably say King of the Monsters. Had Ghidorah, had Rodan, had Mothra, had some very cool shots, like you said, like the one where they're in the Arctic and Godzilla and Ghidorah are kind of like sizing each other up. That was, I don't know why, that just stuck with me for the whole movie. It was pretty good. It's
a really iconic shot. It's great.
Right, for sure. So yeah, those are mine. This next one, I'll kind of combine two questions because they're relatively similar. What is your main inspiration, and do you have any artists that you look up to for inspiration? And then we'll start with Kai on that one.
Oh god. I can't think. I'd have to think on like artists in particular that I do look up to, because it's kind of an amalgamation thing. There isn't like one person that sticks out, because I do think like you should greatly enjoy and be a fan of other artists' work, but I think sometimes you need to make sure that you are a fan of as many artists as possible, because it will expand your sort of idea of like what art is and what styles you could influence you and stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't say I have like maybe one in particular. I think I'm more so inspired by like little parts of a lot of people's styles, and that's kind of like where I don't know, but that's sort of where I cultivate a lot of inspiration from. Is just seeing other people's works and being like, damn, I didn't think of that. That person's so much cooler than me. And then being like, but in a way that's like a gentle competitiveness where I'm like, I love and appreciate this person's work, but now I also feel this little bit of like, ooh, now I want to go create some stuff, you know? And I think that kind of feedback loop is actually, it's really important as an artist to be able to have that crumb of competitiveness while also like deeply appreciating the person's work and the amount of time and energy it would have taken them to get to that point as an artist. So yeah, I find that to be really inspiring. Again, all the like manga anime influence as well. I'm like, breaking down complicated forms into things that are a lot simple but still like very styled and whatnot. So yeah, definitely like a sort of mishmash of a lot of different things. I don't want to say like one artist in particular, because then I'll go down a rabbit hole of saying like 20 of them. For sure. But yeah, like a lot of people that I follow and appreciate. I'll just I don't know. I like having a big sort of soup of people to enjoy rather than one in particular. So yeah, I guess that's kind of that.
Oh yeah.
So I guess one of my biggest inspirations for my art was, was Studio Gainax in it when he was doing Tenen Top and Gurren Lagann.
Okay.
That show changed my brain chemistry in a way that I cannot fully describe. Just the thick black shadows, the sharp edges, it blew my mind. And I'm like, I want to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that kind of put me in a whole thing where I'm like, oh, I want to do stylized stuff and whatnot. And then I started learning more, and I'm like, oh, I want to do soft things. I want to try this. I want to try that. So I guess it's a lot of a mix of both Western and Eastern influences on my art, because I like having it where I can still go crazy with facial features and like expressions, but I don't want to lean too much into the anime art style because I feel like that is limiting. I feel like leaning into one art style too much is very limiting. When it comes to like artists that inspire me, one of the artists that really inspire me is the. Do you know it's like I can't remember what their thing. The thing is, it's like Space Station 1.
Yeah, it's a tabletop game, right?
No,
Oh,
it's a
never mind.
person. I'm trying to find the thing. Hold on. Space Channel 99. I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Space Channel 5. I think that's what they have their thing as. They started off doing like Jotaro X Kekyoin art, and it was like early 2000s style, and I'm like, this is the fucking coolest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
That actually helped me be brave enough to do my own like slice of life Godzilla stuff, not gonna lie. But like they slowly turned into their own season characters, and I still find their art super inspiring to this day. And I really like their art. It was really cool.
No, not really. I don't have a favorite. It sounds so rude. I'm sorry.
No. Tell us about it.
I don't have a favorite. I like a lot of artists and I follow them and I definitely look at the artworks and take inspiration from them, but I don't have a favorite. I don't know why. I just don't have one.
No, that's totally fine.
And what'd you say before that? Before having a favorite artist?
Just what is your main inspiration, really?
Main inspiration for my artworks, yeah, definitely looking at other people's artworks and try things out and don't be afraid to draw something new. And even though you make mistakes, you can learn from them and you can always improve. Time takes practice. And especially since I draw animals and creatures more often, I look at animals in real life and play around with 3D models and see how they move, how their anatomy works and their muscles, so I can get their perspectives right and the proportions to improve my artworks. Yeah.
I don't have like one specific artist. I do have lots of artists that I get inspired by. Yeah. But mainly because I really like just like shitposty stuff. I see lots of artists, especially I'm the one who kind of started the whole Muscle Mothra thing because I just think it's really funny to just see, like a very sweet and nice and soft character, and then suddenly it's just like muscles.
Yeah, buff.
Because it's just so and I've seen so many like artists just draw something like that. Yeah, I also sometimes read lots of like webtoons and also like normal like anime manga. And whenever I see like characters suddenly buffing up for like comic relief or just like for just lore, I just love that. I just love it. And it's mostly like from a lot of like comics and webtoons and manga. Whenever I see like facial expressions, I get so much inspiration from there. Like whenever some character says something stupid, does something stupid, their face just goes like, like what the hell? And I just like, oh, I like that face. I like that face. And I tend to copy that or more like get inspired by it. And I have other like artists who like really draws nice illustration of, it's like not realistic, more like half realistic, half like manga style.
Semi?
Those parts, yes. Yeah.
Semi-realistic?
Not too realistic. Like you can see that it's not too realistic, but also has some sort of like anime, manga, cartoonish features, and I also really like that kind of drawing. And I try to like practice because I can't color. I cannot add details and like yeah. So I try to like practice and make them look more like same realistic. Yeah. So I can't really pick one specific artist, but I do get a lot of inspiration from a lot. Like even like small artists, even if they think they're small artists, even like you guys, I get like a lot of inspiration from like Endo, Kai, and Star, and like other artists on Discord as well. So yeah, it's I can't say it's like one specific person. I like artists all about creativity and creation and creativity comes from everyone. So you can't
Very
help but be inspired by everyone. So yay.
Awesome. Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where like you don't really take from just one person. Like art is in itself, you're mimicking something but taking pieces from one thing and pieces from another thing, and you kind of form this melting pot of like your own style, and eventually you kind of expand on that and then it becomes its own thing, and then people take from that. So yeah, I get not having one particular one that you just look up to, especially. This one, are you ever fully satisfied with a piece, or do you stop yourselves from just continuing? Or do you have to stop yourself from continuing a piece? We'll go with Star on that one.
So I'm a storyboarder. I do a lot of quick sketches. The thing is, I feel like it depends on what piece it is. If it is something like just something quick, it's just like, all right, get it done, get it out, it's there. You have something else that you have to work on. Compared to something like a bit more complicated, I won't be happy with it in the end, but I'm like, okay, it's done. Let's get it out, In college, you kind of, or I guess like when I was in college, you kind of had to learn that perfectionism isn't going to get you most places. You just have to get it good enough. Because if you get it good enough, you can send it in and people won't notice. They might notice, but it's out there. That's the thing that's important. Because if you keep adding to it and you keep holding it back, it's never going to get out there. You're never going to see it. And you're just going to, it's just a detriment to yourself. You know what I mean?
For sure, yeah. Kind of, it's like you just got to start somewhere. Like you just got to go.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere. You got to get it out at least. Because, like, believe me, I've had my time where I'm like, I don't like how this looks. And sometimes I'll, like, get pretty far into a drawing. I'm like, I'm done. I can't do it. And then I just throw it away.
Right.
Honestly, I'm not, like, exactly satisfied with my own artworks. Because they're usually shitposts. It's not like I'm... think they're entirely bad, but I also don't think they're amazing. It's just like shit posts and all that, but it's just like to get my creativity out. And when it comes to my actual artworks, animations and storytelling, I'm very much a perfectionist when it comes to that. I just make sure it's perfect. I make sure it makes sense. And I ask people around for feedback in order to improve it. Because if I don't think it's good enough, or it's just not okay in my opinion, or think it's just bad, takes a wrong turn, then I won't continue. Then I don't have the motivation to work on it anymore, which happened before with many stories of mine. And that's why before I actually work on them, I flesh them out and completely get the story done, then working on them midway, because, well, that's fun to me. And then work on producing the actual story, the visuals, and everything around it. It also truly depends on what I'm working on.
For sure.
My intention. What am I posting like that?
Never satisfied, because I take really long to draw. I take really long, even if it's like a small comic or anything. It actually takes really long to draw because I usually don't really have time. And And I'm always so like I am also kind of like a perfectionist, even though I can't draw perfectly. I try. Because,
You're fine.
I'm fine, but I'm not
Yeah.
perfect. Yes. But the thing is, it's just like the small details. I always focus too much on the small details, even if I know that people are just gonna take like a few seconds, just look at my drawing and move on with their lives. But yeah, I always just focus too much on those things, and even if I finish, it feels like I should do more. But I'm just like, okay, you know what? I'm tired. I should just post this on the social media and just like, I hope people like it. But sometimes, I don't know, like sometimes even if I do draw, I do have like a really nice piece that I'm really satisfied, but the attention it gets is not enough. I get really sad. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
I spend so much time on it, but people are not really like I know likes are not what my art's worth, but if you see that a lot of people don't really interact too much on this art piece, I just go like, okay, maybe I shouldn't draw too much on this type of art. So yeah, I don't think I'm ever satisfied with like my art, but I know that I am improving and I am happy with that, I guess. Yeah.
Awesome. I mean, you are, I think, very talented. Obviously, I have you on here for a reason. I think you're very good at what you do.
Yeah.
All of you.
Can I say something? Can I say something to Rubes?
Sure.
Okay. I have to say this. Rubes, your art is great. I like it. It may not be perfect, like you said, but come on, the shapes you use, the curves of your lines, the way you keep it really comfortable. Like you often have those artworks where it feels really stiff, like my artworks used to be, but yours is really smooth, and I love that.
Look, I'll say this, Rude. If you weren't, you have a following for a reason. Your work resonates with people. Like I said, you don't have to be perfect artist to get a following. You just have to have something. You gotta have that something.
Who's
You got
perfect?
that something.
Who is perfect, huh, Rube?
You guys are making me cry, man.
Go cry about it. Your artworks are great.
Take the love.
Except no, I'm never satisfied. There's a demon that resides between my eyes, and it says it's not good enough at all times. And I think that's like why I draw in the first place, is being like, it's not enough ever. I can appreciate where something is abandoned
Mhm.
because I never finish things. I only accept that it's time to leave. I think that's part of art brain in general, is you're always striving for more, you know? Like you're always striving for the next step. You know, your boy's in therapy, and I've been making a very strong distinction between like precision versus perfectionism. And I think I suffered from perfectionism for a long time, which was very like, you know, kind of, it's not a great way to exist, because you're a lot harsher on yourself. So we've been working on thinking about things from the perspective of like, I want to be precise, and I want to like think about things from the perspective of like precision. And it's been helping a lot with me being like, I want this to come across as me caring about what's going on in this piece or what have you. Even if it's silly, I'm like, I want there to be intention behind like what I'm doing and stuff. But I do have to accept at a certain point that like I'm done with existing around this piece. It's either not going to be what I want it to be, and I can try again later when I've learned more, or this is where it's going to exist for now. You might redraw it in a few years and be like pleasantly surprised with where you're at. So yeah, I'd say like I'm never satisfied, but I don't think it's necessarily negative. I think it's a type of fuel to kind of keep me going in a way.
Yeah.
For sure.
Can I go again?
Sure, you may.
I need to say something too.
Go ahead.
Since you're also a perfectionist, I've got a tip for you. It's gonna sound like a bitch at first, and I've been through this before, but try to zoom out on your artworks and focus less on the small details, because you're gonna realize eventually when you're not focusing too much on details, you got the shape of it, and then you're like, oh, it actually looks decent. Because when you focus too much on details, you're like precisely focusing on details which may not match with the rest of the artwork or anything like that. So just a tip for you, if you ever
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to sell stuff as like prints, so there is a certain level of detail that I need to imply in some of them. But yeah, no, I think over the years I've, when I stopped doing line art and stuff, and I just started like refining sketches, I think that helps a lot with not worrying so much about like things looking like extremely on point. I'm like, I leave messy lines and whatnot, and I think that helps me feel kind of
that's also
more accepting of it.
And honestly, when you stop doing those line arts on your own artworks, it makes your art more lively, a lot more how'd you say it?
It feels a lot more natural, I think.
More natural.
Yeah.
They're just more lifelike. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just smoother now. I like it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. I have one more question, and then Chad had a couple more questions. So, any advice to anyone trying to get into drawing and or struggling artists out there?
Okay. I might not have the best advice. But I was a small artist at some point. So I guess when I was before I got popular, I was trying to get popular and was focusing a lot on likes and all of that, and focusing on a lot of details, which actually made my artworks look pretty sloppy and stiff. But after I tried to improve myself and don't look too much at the following and do what you like, and try to engage with other people, get art tips, or just talk to other people. And this is one thing, it's to come up with something new. Like, the reason why I blew up on Twitter and other social medias is because of one simple thing. I started shipping Biolente and Barb the Muto together. I didn't think it was gonna get popular at all, but people liked them. It's probably because I established a dynamic between them and gave them personalities, which actually drew in people. It's to come up with something new, something that makes you stand out like that. It's you just gotta find a place in the franchise. It's really difficult. I can't say for sure, but that's how my journey went on how to get a bigger following, like that.
I think the most important thing is just have fun. Like, art should be something that you enjoy doing, and of course I do appreciate a lot of people enjoying my art, because like I started really long ago, like back in 2000. I actually started posting stuff in 2017, and why like I couldn't quit, because the fact that a lot of people enjoy my art, that made me enjoy my art as well. And that made me also improve as a person and as an artist. Also, I think I know nowadays we have lots of AI. I hate AI, and I think you should try to find your own design, your own creation, like Endo said. Try to be creative. Art is all about being creative.
Yep.
And
don't be scared.
and don't be scared, obviously, and don't give up, because I've seen so many people give up on art and just like because they're not getting enough like traction or like attention. I mean, I was there too. I'm not saying like I get millions of like views and everything, but like I was also there when I only got like 2 or 3 likes on my art, but I really didn't give up. I kept trying. I follow trends. I follow like the memes and everything, and that actually made me help grow as an artist. Also, I also like wholesome stuff and like family stuff, and you guys can see the way I draw -1 is definitely not the way I like you see in the movies, but it's just like having fun basically. Like, oh, imagine -1. It looks cute on the outside, but it's a demon in the inside, and it made me make a story about it, and actually people enjoy that, and it's all about you having fun and the fact that if you know that you are you are making other people also enjoy your art, that really that's just it for me. Because and also you get to meet nice people. So don't give up. You only meet nice people. They're there for you. You got your homies. You know. Yeah.
Very
Anyway,
true.
that's
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want this to sound like mean because I promise it doesn't, but I can't, nothing I say will save you from yourself. I know this because I felt the way that a lot of people are feeling right now, which is that like I have this like this urge to create and like do something, but I promise you I watched like 100 YouTube videos about inspiration. I watched like you know, just endless things of like trying to solve in my own head like how to become inspired or how to find the motivation to like do more and stuff, and nothing anyone said solved it. I had to like find it in myself. So I think you can take and heed advice from people and be like, this can influence like your thought processes, but nothing will make like actionable change in how you find inspiration or like motivation besides yourself. It has to come from within you. Like if you are stuck on the idea of getting attention or like likes or follows or anything like that, you will be forever like burdened by searching for more attention and likes and feedback.
Yes.
Like it needs to be internal. You need to find satisfaction in what you're doing for yourself, because at the end of the day, my accounts could get hacked and all my followers could disappear, but I would still draw. Like that's, you know, it needs to come from a very real place. And also the fact that like it's gonna show if you're being inauthentic. That people can smell that. If you're not truly passionate about like what you're drawing or, you know, the things that you're putting out there, people can tell. They really can. Like, you know, and I think that authenticity will always be far more appealing than like, you know, perfectly rendered art. People would much rather have like a real feeling or a real experience than to, you know, get hyper realistic creations from you like every single day. So yeah, like, and always try something new. Like if your friend recommends you a weird show and you're like, that doesn't look very good, or I don't think I would like it, just watch it anyways. Like just seek out like weird little things that, who knows, they might inspire you, right? Like just try it. Just try something new. You'll find the thing TM that inspires you, and yeah, I think it's very much a internalized self journey you have to take, but I for one believe in you.
When I say I'm very passionate about art, I mean it. I've analyzed what I want to be as an artist. I've known I wanted to be an artist since forever, and I'm gonna give you guys some very harsh advice, but it's going to help you in that. First off, if you're an artist and you think I want to make this my living, you're gonna have to acknowledge yourself and think to yourself, do I really want this to be how I make my living? Am I passionate enough to keep doing this for a living, or is this going to be a hobby? There's nothing wrong with either. Honestly, God bless you if it's just a hobby, because you're going to be a lot happier in life. I'm going to tell you that much right now. If you want to be an artist, I believe you have to want it. You have to have that passion. You have to have that fire, because it will eat you up and spit you out without a second thought. It is a hard, really hard, just economy out here. It's a hard, like, art scene. If you want to be seen, you have to have something. And it's okay if you don't. Just make something because you want to make it. Just be something because you want to be it. Don't think that the world's gonna end if you can't make something that's gonna like change the world, because it's gonna change one person. If you're able to change one person, you made it as an artist. That's my opinion.
100%.
But always just try to think about, how dedicated are you to this? Is this what you want to do, like, for the rest of your life? I know I made that decision a long time ago, and it's hard, and it keeps me up at night sometimes, and it makes me really scared for my future. But I know that if I was not doing this, I would not be here still. And I know that sounds really dark, but it's true. This is who I am. This is what I am. This is who I'm gonna be. This is what I strive to be for in, like, college. So you have to make a decision. Like, what is art to me? And I guess, like, so once you make that decision, you're gonna have to make another decision of, like, do I want to get better? And if you want to get better as an artist, I'm gonna tell you this right now, you have to study the fundamentals. Because if you do not study the fundamentals, you are fucked. Okay? You're fucked. Perspective, just in small ways. Perspective, color theory, just practicing getting your lines straight, sketching stuff out, looking at real people, practicing poses, experimenting with other different types of art mediums, not just digital. You have to practice with physical media, because I believe if you practicing with physical media is what helps you become a better digital artist. That's something I told myself, and it has helped me. Like, any art you see, any type of art that you can experiment with, do it. Because that's going to influence who you are as an artist and what you want to do with your art. Fucking craft books, paper, clay, puppetry, anything. Try it out. Work with it. Figure it out. Because that's going to make you better as an artist in general. Doesn't matter what medium it is. Just keep trying. But, like, never forget the fundamentals, I would say. Never forget those. Because those are eventually going to become second nature to you. And that's just going to help your work just, you're going to be able to draw what you want. Because that's the dream of every artist, right? Just be able to draw what you want. And I would say, yeah, just try to think about, do you really want it? Do you really want it? And I'm not trying to say this to be mean. I'm not saying this to be... It's just so you can save yourself some... It's because I met some people in college who really clearly didn't want it, and it drove me crazy. Because I fought to get into college for art. I fought so hard. I'm the first person in my family to go to a 4-year college for all the years, and seeing just the lack of passion, it kills something inside of you, I think. It makes you sad sometimes. So be passionate, I would say. Be passionate. I don't care if people think you're crazy or you're stupid. Be passionate about something, because we need more people who are unabashedly passionate about things. Because those are the people who change the world. Those are the people who make a difference, and those are the people who are heard because they want it. So yeah, that's what I'd say.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, all really good advice. Definitely something that, it is a passion. It is a thing that you have to want to do in order to make it out there. So all very sound advice, and I do appreciate all of y'all sharing. Well,
that's it.
That's all the questions that I had, as well as that chat sent in. So honestly, that's all I really had. So I'll just say thank you all again so much for joining. Like, this It's a really big step for me,
Fun.
and I was really looking forward to it because you all are very cool. I look forward to your art all the time. And it's just something that I've been really wanting to do. So again, thank you so much for just even giving me the time of day and listening to me and like letting me bring you on my first episode of the show.
Yahoo!
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Where
None of my
can
yippies have gotten over the thing. Oh, wait. Yay.
gotta take peek at the mic. Where can they find you all? Kai.
Oh, Twitter. I'm not gonna call it X. It doesn't deserve that. It's
No.
Twitter, sure. I have like a link tree. I can give you that. It has everything. My website where I sell prints and stuff will become more like I have it closed down right now, but it will reopen soon. So yeah, I'll link that. I have like Twitter, Tumblr, Bluesky. Those are the main ones. I have Instagram technically. I just keep forgetting to post there. But yeah, the link tree has everything, so I'll put it in there.
Star, where can they find you?
They can find me a lot of places. Twitter, Tumblr. If you want to like really know like a bunch of my little rambles and like extra lore and like just my thoughts, go to my Tumblr because there's just walls of text where I just go on about characters. Twitter is where I post just like a lot of like just really quick stuff, small things, little jokes. I have a Patreon, you know, if you want to see that good shit. If you're an adult.
Yeah, minors do not interact.
If you're an adult. Kids, get the fuck out of here. That's why I made the thing like $6. Kids don't got money.
It's true. That's like $1,000 to them.
We don't got cash. But, you know, you can find me there. You can find my stuff. I just like drawing and I like being. Please support me because I need to pay about my student debt.
For sure.
But yeah, I'm on Instagram too. Honestly, just look up startheskeleton. You'll find me.
Endo, where can they find you?
And they can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube for only animations. I'm just everywhere. Oh, and Bluesky. Forgot about that one. Yeah, you can just find me there. Post drawings and animations, anything really.
All right. And Rubes, where can they find you?
I am also kind of everywhere. The only thing I don't have is TikTok, but I do have YouTube, Twitter, and Tumblr, yeah, and Insta. That's the only ones I have. And probably Reddit, but I don't really use that. So, yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
I have a Reddit, so don't follow me there because I do not post there anymore. Do not go to my Reddit. If I see you on my Reddit, I'll...
In Minecraft.
Minecraft.
Sounds like a challenge.
No!
If anyone is looking for them, all the names that like down here on the desk, that is their Twitter handles. So if you want to go there, and then you can kind of start exploring. I'm sure that like they all have link trees or anything from there, so you can find them all there. But I am Storm King VT. You can find me here on Twitch. You have a YouTube that's kind of starting up right now. I have a Bluesky. I have a Twitter. I have a miniature painting Instagram, Storm King Paints for that one. But yeah, I will be keeping up with all of that. And again, thank you all so much for joining me. I mean, some of you are my friends now, so I really appreciate that. I would love to get to know more of you, just, you know, not content brain-wise. So if you know, just, yeah, I'll be around. We're in the same server together. So.
Join the Discord calls, damn you. Hang out with us.
But that's all I have, so I will let you all go. Thank you again for joining me, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me for the first episode of the Stormcast. If you're interested in keeping up with me, I have a Bluesky, Twitter, and I stream on Twitch, so feel free to drop by. I'm live around 3 to 4 nights a week at 6:30 p.m. CST. I post my schedules on all my socials, so keep up with that as well. Thanks again, and I hope to see you there. All right, bye-bye.